Hey, good morning. First day of a week-long adventure. I'm in Daingerfield State Park in Texas. Actually in Daingerfield, Texas, with my wife and dogs, and we're doing this kind of adventure we're doing in high luxury, which I'll show you in a little bit. But we're actually leaving today. We're heading to Crystal Springs Campground on Lake Ouachita in Arkansas. A couple of hours, but Daingerfield is a nice state park. It's very popular, so it's hard to get in. So I made these reservations about 6-7 weeks ago, but we'll only have one day to kind of enjoy the park. So it's got a nice lake here, and you can heavy pine forest, heavily wooded, and in the down by the lake. I think there's pretty good fall color here as well, so it's pretty popular. It's a smaller park, so and due to its popularity, you do have to kind of, especially at the best time of the years for weather, you have to book quite a bit in advance. There's quite a few tent sites and RV sites. Do a little walk around. So this is an RPod 190 that I rented on Outdoorsy for the week. It's about 3,500 pounds maybe. So towing with a Tacoma, not really a problem at all. And it's very comfortable. Thank God we have AC. But it's pretty small, but it does have a full dry bath, which is very nice. And like I said, AC is awesome. So first night in, so we'll have a lot more of this, but yeah, this time of the year, it's, you know, it could be really nice outside. Weather might be great, or like where we are now, it's in the 90s during the day, and it's very humid. So tent camping is just not an option when you have this kind of it's certainly not for the wife, and having the bathroom is great. So but the AC is absolutely essential. So far so good. So this is the inside of the RPod 190. You got bench seating back here. Lots of natural light, which is really great. This table comes out, and then you can put that flat and actually make that into a sleeping surface. This section is a slide out. So it's got the grill, the sink, and then it's got a nice sized fridge or freezer, which is good. And some storage here. Pretty good storage, actually. AC unit up top. It's kind of not a full queen, but close to a queen size bed back here. You got some storage under there, and that's actually where the heater is. And then full toilet, vanity, and shower, which has natural light coming in, which is great. And then a power fan, which actually is really good at pulling air through the entire coach, as they say in the RV industry. So this is a really great little trailer. I should demonstrate that. Slide in. So once you get the slide in, you have pretty restricted access to the rest of the unit. But anyways, really love this trailer. We'll definitely rent it again the next time we plan on a more of a long-term camping experience and the wife wants to go. It is quite warm. It's the third week in September. It's got up to like 93 yesterday, but the humidity here in East Texas is probably 70%, so it's pretty miserable. There's a lot of tent campers here, which there's a whole Boy Scout troop from DFW. I don't know how the hell they are tent camping in this weather. So I'm camping in the Mountain View camping area, which is full hookups, but they have really nice pads for tents. There's a couple people here that had tents, but as we get closer to our spot, we're in number 36. It's a pretty small area. I'll just kind of show you what we're looking at here. It's a small loop, mostly RVs. Nice and quiet and heavily shaded, so that's really, really nice. And there is where we are. This is our luxurious glamping. And there's my little girl, Petite. Just made it into Crystal Springs Campground. It's a COE, Corps of Engineer site in the National Forest on Lake Ouachita. Just had a little bit of a rain shower, so it's quite warm outside and muggy, but this is probably the best campsite I've ever been at. Scored such a great view, so I'll just turn it around. It's our little site. This is site number 13 in Crystal Springs, and we got everything hooked up just fine. Backing in was pretty easy, and this is our incredible view. So we have beautiful view of a small section of Lake Ouachita. There is a no-wake zone, so hopefully there won't be a whole lot of boats going through. And we got a little beach beach you could likely, I guess, swim at. I don't know if the water is cold, and I don't want the dogs to go in, but let's just kind of see how warm. Oh yeah, it's warm. That's totally swimmable. And here's what our site is at. So it's on a pretty flat site, which is really nice. Didn't have to really adjust too much. It was fairly long, so easy to back in. Even though I'm a novice doing that, it didn't take too long to do it. Was definitely easier than Daingerfield. And you can see heavily tree covered, so no need for the awning. Plenty of shade. So we're gonna hang out here, relax this afternoon. It is 5 o'clock, so we'll probably eat a little bit. I'm super sweaty from just setting up, and it's so humid. And then tomorrow we'll probably go on some basic. There's some really cool hikes around here, and a couple points where I'd like to drive to on maybe some of the Forest Service roads. If I were doing this again, 13 would be a repeat, but when I booked these reservations, everything was full, which I'm here now, and literally there's only 2 other campers with us. This site right here, 15, is the one I would book. So if you're planning on coming here, it's a very large site, flat and level, which is great. And look at this view. This is awesome. You've got plenty of room for your vehicle and your camper. You got on the right hand side, you got a place for your awning, your stuff. You've got your picnic table, grill, and like our RPod has the dinette in the back with a view. This would be what you would wake up to in the mornings to look out. Just beautiful. And even in the winter, I'm sure these trees will all drop their leaves. I still think it would be absolutely beautiful, and the fall color is probably really nice here. So anyways, we have a little bit of weather. I think it's just going to be scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, so I kind of expected that. So, but it's nice. Keeps it a little bit cooler. This is Hickory Nut Mountain overlook. It's about a 4-mile gravel road from the main road coming up, and it has a nice overlook of Lake Ouachita, which is really, really nice. It's late in the afternoon. Looks like this road runs along this ridge on this mountaintop. Huge parking lot, so obviously this is a very popular place to come. Easy drive. This is about 15 minutes from Crystal Springs Campground, which is where we're staying. Kind of hazy today, but the sun came out, it's really warm, and it's really, really pretty. All right, it's what, day 3, and we traveled from Crystal Springs Campground in pretty much a rain the entire time, and we are now at Petit Jean State Park in central Arkansas. And so we're at, let's go over here and take a look. Really nice state park. The temperature has dropped probably about 15 or 20 degrees, which is nice. So we're at campsite 74, which is perfect. We had originally booked campsite 75, and the reason we switched was because the water outlet was on the opposite side of the site, and the hose for this RV was about 10 feet too short. So luckily, this one is available for the same amount of time. There's not really, honestly, hardly any people here, so I wasn't too concerned. But both sites are actually really nice. I looked at them online. For whatever reason, I don't remember seeing something odd about the water being on the different side, but I'll just go over and show it to you. So what I think is odd is that, you know, the electric hookups are on the as you enter the site, right? It's on the left side of your RV, which you would normally back in, obviously. And the water is right here in the front, which is actually really far forward. So I could have made it work if I had pulled the trailer forward, but then leveling probably would have been an issue. And luckily that worked out, so it worked out perfectly. It is expected to start to clear a little bit. I think tonight and tomorrow, I believe it's going to be sunny. So a little muddy, obviously, with the dogs and the truck. So right now, because it was raining pretty much the entire drive up, and we are just going to get situated and make a nice meal for tonight. And we're here for 3 nights, which is great. So there's tons of hiking here. Leaves are just barely starting to turn. So there is some really nice waterfalls nearby, so I believe that's one of the things we'll do. And oh, there's even a little rock creek back here. This is nice. I'm not running, but this is kind of cool. I believe actually we're backed up to private property. There is a fence. You probably can't see it. There's a metal fence right there, and if you look, don't really know the story. I'll have to ask maybe the ranger when I go to the visitor centers. There's actually a cabin on this property behind us, and there's a swing set. It's kind of hard to see through the trees. You can barely make it out. And the property line is right here, right through those trees. Anyway, so there's a little cabin, somebody's property, which is cool. No big deal. Come on, Brody. He's been dying to get out and run. Anyways, so we've had a great relaxing time so far. We didn't do too much in Crystal Springs. Again, hold on, my dog's running away. We are in section C. There's A, B, C, and D sections, and actually next to C, they are actually constructing a new camping area. He can't stand that Mom and Pete are walking ahead of him. Come on. This is also the overflow area. So you can actually book this. This is kind of like rally style camping. So if you had a large group, you can book this section as well, but this is pretty much overflow. So you would just park your rig and, but you got hookups, which is great. So this would be kind of fun for if you had a caravanning with a large group of people. And this is Lake Bailey, right near our campsite. No. This is the Rock House Cave. It's a quarter-mile trail from the parking lot. Very easy hike. Obviously pretty popular, but this is very much like a shelter cave that I've seen before in Arkansas up near Jasper area in the Buffalo River. So very similar type of cave with a big open entrance. But it's quite large. We are on Red Bluff Drive, I believe. It's a loop, and the Rock Cave Trail was off that road, and again there's parking there, and the rest of this drive is just a loop where you've got these overlooks, basically looking over this valley, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I'd really like to come back in, I guess, late October, early November, when I guess they get the fall colors at their peak. But it's pretty amazing scenery. There's a nice cool breeze. Finally got some really good weather last night. Dropped it down to about 55. And it's expected to be completely sunny for the next 3 days. Highs in the low 70s during the day, so the sun is warm, but it feels great. Just beautiful. There are trails that go down into that canyon. which I think are fairly long and they're considered strenuous, so I'm not going to do those today, but would like to go do the trail to the falls before we leave. We're hiking the Bear Cave Trail, which isn't really a bear cave, but it's these giant boulders. Again, it's like a quarter-mile trail, very easy. Look at this. We're on the Cedar Falls Trail. So it begins at the Mather Lodge, and there's a pretty steep descent, carved out in switchbacks. And we actually want to go to the canyon trail, which is relatively easy. But this first part of this trail is pretty steep, so getting back up to the parking lot will be quite a good workout. But it's really beautiful, very shaded. You can take this trail all the way to the falls. We did the falls overlook a few minutes ago, and so that footage would be before this part. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the falls is running. There's not been a lot of rain over the summer, and that's what really drives that. So I don't know that I'll make the effort to go there, but we'll see. So after the bridge, there is a fork here for the canyon trail, which is basically follows this creek, and then the trail to the falls, which we're going to go ahead and take since we made the trip down. And I think most of the strenuous part is done, and then we'll head back. This is a pretty rocky trail, so having the dogs makes it a little bit more difficult, but it's not too bad. Yeah, here's some pretty rocky sections that we've been going through. Around trees and some boulders that have collapsed down. But for the most part, you can tell it's heavily shaded, which is great. So right now, even though the sun is out, it's pretty cool and enjoyable to walk through the forest. We're at the falls. It should open up here in a second. I'll turn it around. The water the falls aren't really running. There hasn't been enough rain, so Let me get in a better shot here so I can get, it's very, very rocky this section. So I got to focus on being able to get the dog in the right position. So there's the falls, just barely running, but beautiful hike. This is mostly formed out of sandstone, from what I read, and that's the kind of all the layers that you see are sedimentary deposits that have been eroded away from water. Now, I did see a picture of it in the winter where that falls is frozen, so that actually would be interesting to see. But it's a really large pool. There's no swimming allowed in here. And then there's just a massive collapsed boulder all the way around. And the dog is in the water. You getting cold off already? Wave, honey. So the hike itself is, I don't even think it's 2 miles round trip. I think that's about it. It's the descent, and the ascent is like there's a 200-foot stairway, stone cut stairway and switchbacks at the very beginning to get down into the actual canyon. That's going to be the absolute hardest thing. So if you have mobility issues, knee issues, things like that, it's going to be pretty difficult getting down because it's quite steep. So this is going to take us a while to get kind of back. But once you get down into the canyon, it's pretty much flat except for spots where there are little hills, tree roots, and then basically boulders and rubble where it can be rocky for 20-30 yards, and then it's flat again. So once you're down here, it's actually an easy hike, but the hard part is the descent into the canyon, which is very steep. So gorgeous scenery. It's just amazing to me that this is literally 5.5, 6 hours from DFW. This kind of mountain terrain, forest, it's beautiful. This is the hard part. Switchbacks straight up the side of this canyon. Mostly rocky. What do you see, Brody? Oh, he sees a squirrel. No, leave it.
Please don't try to get that squirrel. I'm dead. Come on.
Leave it, Brody.
Go on.
You can see the stairs are cut well.
Go.
So that's very helpful, but it's still extremely vertical to get up. So, and there's a lot of them. So my little motor here. I can't believe my little 13-pound beagle. No, I mean, she's 13 pounds. Can pull like she does. And she's been pulling the entire time. Made it to the top. Totally worth it in terms of the hike. It'd be really, really nice if the falls were running. Maybe in another month or so, if they get more rain, it'll be really flowing well. So, but taking the last section going up, if you just take breaks at each switchback, you should be good to go. But a really, really nice hike. We're at Stout's Point. This was an area of land purchased in 1849 by William Stout, who was an Episcopal priest in Arkansas. He bought a couple thousand acres of land on the Arkansas River, and this rocky mountain point is known as Stout's Point, which overlooks, I guess, the land that he used to own. This is also the location of what's said to be the gravesite of Petit Jean. Legend has it that I think it was in the early 1800s. She was engaged to a French nobleman who was going to explore the New World, and she didn't want to be without him, so she disguised herself as a cabin boy on the same ship that her fiance was taking to the New World, and they explored the Mississippi River up and through Arkansas, and then they were in this area, and she got gravely ill and apparently died, and at the last minute revealed her true identity to her fiance. So that's the legend. And her, obviously the Petit Jean comes from the French word Petit Jean, and that's what the crew members called her, Little John. Don't know if I buy that, but that's the legend, and that's the gravesite apparently. Really nice view though. Another beautiful day at Petit Jean. This is our last day. It's actually the morning. We are getting ready to pack up and head home. I think the last time I did some footage here it was rainy, so that's kind of our campsite. It's actually, this is 74 is a really good site because it backs up to private property, so there's open area back here. We've got the dogs chained up on the hook here so they can kind of wander around a little bit. It's not too close. I mean, it's like any other state park. The sites can be kind of close together, but I think this is a pretty good spot overall. Bathrooms are close too if you need them. So this is the first time I've towed anything with the Tacoma. This RPod 190 is roughly 3,500 pounds, and on the Tacoma I added the brake controller a couple weeks back, and I also added, I'll show you this, changed out the bump stops to some Sumo bump stops. You can see them there, the rubber, black rubber bump stops, to provide a little more cushion for when the back end is I've got a significant load on it, so it actually helps quite a bit. I think the previous bump stops were just the OEM ones that were tiny, but for the most part it's not what I would call mountainous here, but it is hilly. I didn't have any problems towing. I just put it into ECT mode for the transmission, which keeps the gears longer and a little bit lower, and it worked great. So I did feel the trailer behind me on a couple occasions where because I didn't have a weight distribution hitch, you know, it can kind of get on certain roads. You can kind of feel it lifting and pushing, but it wasn't too bad. And so I was pretty happy with it. My gas mileage, which normally on the highway in the Tacoma is roughly, you know, 20 to 23, depending upon speed. My mileage on towing the RPod was at best 11, and I was trying to stay around 60 to 65 because that to me was sort of the sweet spot where it felt comfortable. So that was, you know, 10 to 11 miles per gallon on the highway. So, you know, not great, but that's kind of what I expected, actually. Overall, this is a really nice trailer. Again, I rented this on Outdoorsy. Very clean, small trailer, but perfect for the two of us and the dogs. It's, you know, got a full bathroom, which is really, really nice, and a little kitchen. So we cooked in almost pretty much every night. We didn't even use the outdoor grill. It was just so much more convenient. And of course, AC was absolutely critical, because when we left Texas last week, it was in the 90s and like 90% humidity in Daingerfield. It was absolutely miserable. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna eat, pack up, and head out. So I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you commenting. If you like this, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down. And if you like the content, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.